Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, Congresswoman Janice Hahn speaks at the annual State of the Region address. Find out where Torrance stands in this economy.
Plus, the city participates in the Great California Shakeout drill. See how Torrance prepares for the big one.
Then Halloween is celebrated a little early, but all for a great cause. Reporter Kyle Sexton is in downtown Torrance and has more.
And continuing in our breast cancer awareness series, we'll take you to the Nakano Theater where women shared stories of survival and laughter. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jen Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. With Election Day quickly approaching, presidential candidates face off once again, this time in South Florida at Lynn University Boca Raton. Reporter Lorena Ceseda tells us how local residents react to the heated exchange.
Tonight is the third and final presidential debate. Republicans, Democrats, and undecided voters gathered here at Tortilla Cantina to watch the candidates go head-to-head on foreign policy issues.
This one, for all intents and purposes, is a make-or-break interview for both.
According to polls conducted by CNN and CBS, Mitt Romney won the first debate and President Obama won the second. Viewers watching tonight say these debates may influence who they vote for.
We are in times that need some change, and I don't know which one can bring about the change in the best way, so I'm listening very closely to what they say and hoping that I make the right decision when I go to the polls.
I want to see very real answers to the policy questions that are being posed to them tonight.
Here at the cantina, as voters watch the heated exchange, by the end of the night, it seemed to only affirm who they already had in mind to vote for.
I'm leaning very closely to re-electing President Obama, but I'm certainly open to understanding what Mitt Romney has to offer.
I'm pretty undecided at this moment, so I don't know, but probably leaning towards Obama.
I'm not for Obama, but I sure don't like to change votes in the middle of the. I don't believe in either of them, but I'm voting for Romney.
These series of debates are important in laying out the candidates' strategies and give the candidates a chance to put some personality behind it.
Romney's about less government, and Obama's about helping the middle class and probably more government. But you already know how they feel, so you just want to see them perform and what their style is.
According to 3 separate polls conducted by CBS News, CNN, and Public Policy Polling immediately after the debate, surveyors say that the president won the third round. So what does that mean come Election Day? Only time will tell. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Lorena Salcedo.
Thanks, Lorena. If you're unsure of your polling location, go online to the Los Angeles County's Registrar's Office at lavote.net.
Soaring gas prices at the pump have left many drivers frustrated on the road, but it looks like some good news may be coming our way. Reporter Chia Kobayashi has that story.
Christina Keys is one of many Southern California drivers paying a hefty price at the pump.
It's ridiculous.
Gas prices across California have soared to record highs in October, with some stations surpassing the $5 mark.
I remember when this happened, we were at $4.15 a gallon on a Monday. By Friday, we were at $4.65. I've been in business 27 years. I've never seen an increase so dramatic, so fast in such a short period of time.
These painful prices at the pump haven't been seen since June of 2008, when 1 gallon of gasoline cost just over $4.60. But now, some good news for drivers. The ExxonMobil Torrance refinery, which was a key factor in the spiraling costs, is back in operation. On October 1st, the Torrance refinery experienced a power supply interruption that sent volatile gases to be sent to the flares. After being shut down for 4 days, ExxonMobil officials say they have resumed normal operations and prices are expected to come down.
It's already started to happen, and oil companies are quick to go up and slow to come down in their prices. But we are in a period of decline right now. So in the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to see a 20 or 30 cent a gallon decline.
This comes as a relief to those feeling the aftermath of the incident.
Right now, my light's been on for the past day and a half, so I keep it at E more times than I would have before when the gases were a lot lower, the prices.
I'm spending like hundreds a week on gas and and diesel too.
Until those lower prices are actually seen at the pump, Keys is keeping one thing in mind.
Stay more local and not driving as much.
For This Week in Torrance, this is Chia Kobayashi.
Thanks, Chia. To find the cheapest gas around your area, visit websites like GasBuddy.com and type in your area code. And if you know of a gas station in Torrance that you think has the lowest rates in town, email us and we'll share it with our viewers. Email us at thisweek@torranceca.gov.
Congresswoman Janice Hahn delivered the State of the Region address recently and shared with business owners and community leaders where Torrance stands in today's economy. Reporter Charlene Cheng was there and has the details.
150 community leaders have come out for Congresswoman Janice Hahn's annual State of the Region address, where the overall tone for Torrance's future is largely positive as we climb out of the recession.
Generations of underinvestment in our infrastructure, our educational system, and a middle class have eroded the foundation of our economic dominance. We must take action to revitalize the sources of our strength and reassert our competitive edge, or we will lose them both.
Congresswoman Hahn's suggested plan of action to rebuild Torrance's economy includes empowering small businesses, investing in education, as well as tapping into another, less obvious resource.
When I talk about infrastructure and the economic development for this region, I have to speak about our ports. They are a tremendous resource to this region. And they aren't just critical gateways of trade, they're the engines of growth and opportunity.
City Councilman Bill Sutherland agrees with the significance of ports for Torrance.
We do not have a port, of course. However, we are really close to a port. She was talking about port security, getting a caucus together for all the ports in America to try to add some strength. People underestimate the importance of ports. You forget how much material comes in and how much material goes out.
Congresswoman Hahn's success in spearheading a bipartisan caucus highlights a necessity on the national level.
No matter what you hear about how bitter and partisan and toxic it is back there, I feel, and my port caucus proves it, that there is a hunger on probably everyone who serves in Congress to find ways to work together.
With the continued combined efforts of the Congress and our City Council, there's optimism that Torrance's economy will continue to recover. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Charlene Cheng.
Thanks, Charlene. For more information on Congresswoman Hahn's projects, visit hahn.house.gov.
Southern California is famous for many things: beaches, weather, and unfortunately, its ground-shaking earthquakes. Reporter Lorena Salcedo tells us how the city of Torrance is preparing for the inevitable big one.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The city had various departments meet here at the Emergency Operations Center to prepare for the big one.
Riverside and Orange County are all declaring emergencies at this time, so resources are going to be very limited.
The city participated in the Great Shakeout, a statewide drill. The scenario was a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that hit at 10:18 a.m. The epicenter was in Palm Springs, affecting the Inland Empire, Los Angeles, and Orange County.
It's not a full-scale exercise, but we are simulating injects into a scenario as if they were real within the room, and then practicing a response to those based on available resources.
The purpose was to practice for such a disaster and test the city's emergency response plan.
Every year we do different injects and drill different parts of the city so that everybody has a turn to actually do some hands-on training.
This year, the drill was focused on the community services departments. A shelter was set up at the Ken Miller Rec Center to receive displaced residents and animals.
We're wondering if you can tell me what the capacity is for the Ken Miller Center.
Participants were broken up into 5 teams. Management wore yellow vests, operations were red, planning blue, logistics orange, and finance green. Each team worked together and strategized.
Trying to keep track of what's being dispatched in our department operation centers and what major events are occurring so we can make sure that resources are going to the right areas.
We get volunteers, staffing, vehicles, food and water, anything that might be needed at one of the emergency scenes that we get for them.
The exercise served as a great practice for city staff, as well as a reminder that the Great Quake could happen at any time. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Lorena Salzedo.
Thanks, Lorena. Here in Torrance, all 14 departments and 185 staff members and volunteers participated in the statewide drill. Local businesses, organizations, and schools also did their part in preparing for the big one. Still ahead, we'll tell you how the community prepares.
Plus, as we continue our coverage of breast cancer awareness, we'll take you to a recent show that had audience members laughing out of their seats.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
Oh dear, I can't afford that.
Charge it. You can pay it off later.
Not so fast, credit card guy.
Savings Man.
Don't let him entice you, ma'am. Credit card guy can lead you to big trouble. You need a savings plan.
You're right, Savings Man.
Get this ballpark estimate worksheet at choosetosave.org. It will help you get started.
Gee, thanks, Savings Man.
No, thank you.
So visit choosetosave.org and get your ballpark estimate today.
City officials were on hand to take part in a special Centennial event. Reporter Charlene Chang has the story.
As the city of Torrance continues to celebrate its centennial, 200 guests have gathered for a dinner recognizing some of the key people who have made these events possible. Councilman Barnett was joined by the rest of the City Council, Mayor Scotto, and the Centennial Committee in thanking each of these sponsors.
We had over 31 businesses in the city of Torrance who came together and donated more than $280,000, which helped with our Centennial Celebration for the last year.
All these things can't go on without great community support, and the sponsors and the businesses that did it, especially in this tough economic times. It was incredible. So we really appreciate it from the city of Torrance.
The night featured a banquet complete with a family-style Italian dinner, as well as a special video presentation. Sponsor representatives were presented with a plaque and a special gift, an image from the Lights, Camera, Action event that kicked off the Centennial celebrations.
At this point, because we've had our sales and marketing headquarters here for a number of years, we kind of feel like family with the city of Torrance.
The Centennial celebrations will culminate in a birthday bash at Wilson Park on Sunday, October 28th. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Charlene Chang.
Thanks, Charlene. The final Centennial Birthday Bash takes place on October 28th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. at Wilson Park. For more information, go to torrancecentennial.org.
A local organization shed some light on the positive effects of art therapy. A colorful array of artwork was displayed recently at the Toyota Automobile Museum for the second annual My Heart Showcase. This event, put on by the nonprofit organization Counseling for Kids, featured artwork all done by children in foster care. Therapists shared how art therapy has helped to heal the emotional and physical trauma many of these children experienced. Along with the artwork, an auction and live performance entertained the guests. A $10 donation was collected to help support the agency's outreach programs that directly impact children in foster care.
Music and poetry have merged together to bring back some of Shakespeare's best work. Los Cancioneros Master Chorale, or LCMC, presented Enjoy some Shakespeare at the James Armstrong Theater. South Bay native and internationally acclaimed award-winning poet Dana Gioia joined in and made a special appearance. He is also the winner of this year's Torrance Performing Arts Consortium Shakespeare Award. The concert was comprised of a collection of Shakespearean pieces like Twelfth Night, Much Ado About Nothing, and A Midsummer Night's Dream. Los Cancioneros Master Chorale was formed more than 60 years ago. The group has grown to more than 60 singers and has appeared with other area choirs, instrumental groups, and orchestras, and even performed at Carnegie Hall in New York several times. For more information on future LCMC concerts, go to lcmasterchorale.com.
What happens after you drop, cover, and hold on? Well, more than 9.4 million people all over California practiced their emergency plan in the recent Great Shakeout drill. Reporter Charlene Chang tells us how local volunteers are preparing to respond when an emergency strikes.
Will you be prepared when the big one hits? To ensure that they will be, Torrance's disaster service volunteers have gathered for a statewide earthquake drill. Known as the Great California Shakeout Drill, Torrance took part in a statewide practice, a chance for response teams to get prepared for the inevitable big earthquake someday.
The point of today is it's not a test. This is to see what we did well and what we can do to correct any mistakes we might have made or to improve what we've been doing to make it better. So every time we do something like this, it gets us more and more prepared for the actual event.
Torrance's Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT, has teams in charge of fire suppression, utility control, search and rescue, as well as an efficient system for medical treatment.
They will be triage-driven depending upon what their status is. The CERT members go through a list. It's called 32 can do. So if their breathing is greater than 30, they're immediately an immediate.
Each CERT member is equipped with a backpack that includes all of the supplies necessary to perform these tasks, including the most crucial of all.
For CERT, they teach us the most important thing is, who's the most important person? I am. Because if I don't take care of myself, I can't help my family, I can't help my neighbors, I can't help my friends, and I can't help the city or anybody else that may need my assistance. So protective personal equipment is the most important.
The American Red Cross teamed up with city staff and volunteers to set up shelters. In the event of a real disaster, Red Cross would provide these shelters with vital supplies.
We would bring our cots, blankets, snacks, hydration, comfort items. We would set up a kids area for the children, and we would bring in toys if necessary to help with that. We would also provide a mental health and health area.
And for those with pets, rest assured, the Animal Disaster Team, or ADT, will also have a neighboring shelter set up.
Basically, we're providing basic care, kenneling, food, water, allow the pets owners to come walk the dogs, visit with them, basically, enable that connection to be maintained between the animals and their owners.
ADT advises residents to prepare earthquake kits with food, water, and medicine for their pets, and of course, for themselves. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Charlene Cheng.
Thanks, Charlene. To learn more on Torrance's disaster service volunteer teams, go online to torrance.ca.gov/DSV.
Businesses, organizations, and schools across the state also participated in the Great Shakeout drill. And if there's one school that's prepared for a disaster, it's First Lutheran right here in Torrance. Kyle Sexton tells us how.
First Lutheran School has an award-winning safety plan, and they are ready for anything.
We know that earthquakes are not a question of will they happen, but when. And so we want to be prepared to the best of our ability in case anything were to happen.
As part of the annual California Shakeout, First Lutheran put their plan into action by practicing a set of drills designed to lead the students to safety in case of an emergency. But this school stands out from all the rest.
First Lutheran has been honored with the 2012 Disaster Preparedness Award. They put a lot of effort into the safety of their students.
I'm really fortunate, the leadership at our school is really fortunate because everybody thinks about it. They're worried about what their job is. Got an email from one of the teachers, remember, I'm not going to be here, who's going to take my place? And so they're all thinking about it and they take it very seriously.
Given by the Torrance Police Department, The award recognizes the dedication the administration has to the students. And when disaster strikes, each one has a job and a backup staff member to perform their duties in case they are unable. An earthquake is just one of the many disasters First Lutheran prepares for. It begins with each class lined up at the playground as teachers take roll.
Then we separate our students into family groups. So siblings are they're in color groups. So siblings can be together in a group if they're waiting for their parents. We feel that in a real emergency, it would really be helpful for kids to be with an older brother or sister.
In case of a real emergency, a community emergency response team of school staff members will search the classrooms. Parents will take part in a pickup system with access to all their children in one place.
Thank you very, very much for participating in today's Great California Shakeout. Good job.
With what the administration has learned from the drill, they will continue to devise an even stronger plan of attack for the future. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Kyle Saxton.
Thanks, Kyle. First Lutheran practices their earthquake drill twice a year, as well as multiple fire drills.
John Adams Elementary is one of the schools in Torrance taking part in a nationwide awareness campaign. Reporter Charlene Chang has more.
I promise to never, ever, ever use drugs.
Torrance police officers were on hand to kick off Red Ribbon Week with a presentation reminding students to just say no to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco.
Are apples, bananas, and fruit gonna hurt us? No. What about milk? Is milk gonna hurt us? That's silly, right? But, will smoking hurt us?
They told us how to and to like say no to drugs and like how jail's like, and it's not good to steal.
Red Ribbon Week continues with special days to keep school spirit high.
We're supposed to wear red and have like crazy hair day and all these fun activities and days.
John Adams also honors Red Ribbon Week with a unique display in front of their school.
Every year we have a carved wooden ribbon that all the kids sign their pledge to stay drug and alcohol free.
Both officers and school officials agree that it is never too early to start teaching children about drugs.
I want to think that if I at least get to 1, 2, 3 kids, then it was all worthwhile.
The research shows that having these conversations at the young age really leave an imprint on a child's mind. So we always try and revisit in the classroom, but especially make a specific point to do that during the last week of October for National Red Ribbon Week.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Charlene Chang.
Thanks, Charlene. National Red Ribbon Week takes place from October 23rd through the 31st.
Continuing in our October Breast Cancer Awareness Series, actress, writer, and host Wendy Hammers brought a hilarious show to town, hoping to uplift the spirits of women battling cancer and bring laughter to those in need of hope. Lorena Salcedo takes us to the show titled Live to Tell the Tale, Stories from the Road to Hell and Back.
The most important part of life, really every day taking stock in what you have and having gratitude for what you have.
These award-winning actors and writers came together to create a hilarious show, each one coming out on stage one at a time to tell her personal story.
How many of you, by raising hands, have actually been to hell? Anybody? I understand.
The women spoke about their hardships, becoming a paraplegic, the cultural clashes of growing up with deaf parents, and getting a double mastectomy.
For a one-shot deal, the big whammy, what they call a double mastectomy. Take that and go!
It's not really about what happens to us. It's about what we do. Choices that we make.
No matter the life-changing event, these women all had one universal message.
People who love you will cross enormous cultural divides for you.
What made me feel comfortable was to see that nobody cared. My friends who love me, they love me.
I realized what I had, and I became willing to let this man love me. And since that day, we've been sharing this extraordinary life.
All you really need is love. And it's the power of love that keeps these women going.
We think we have all kinds of crazy problems, and we've got a hangnail, and we're sitting in traffic on the 405, and the things that we get caught up in life that we think are important are so not important, especially when you hear the real kinds of challenges people have gone through and not only survived but thrived.
As Wendy says, these women have brought a whole new meaning to the age-old phrase, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Lorena Salcedo.
Thanks, Lorena. 1/3 of the proceeds from this event were donated to the cancer support community of Redondo Beach. If you would like to see more of Wendy Hammers' productions, visit wendyhammers.com.
A local nonprofit charity called Evelyn's BFF held a special event for breast cancer survivors. Reporter Chia Kobayashi tells us more about Pamper Me Pink Girls Day.
There were pink balloons, pink goodie bags, and positive vibrations everywhere.
It's a special event for all breast cancer survivors, and I'm one of them. So since February 2011, and Evelyn invited me here, so I'm here.
Participants like Maria Robles attended the second annual Pamper Me Pink Girls Day event, held by the non-profit public charity Evelyn's BFF. This marked a special day for breast cancer survivors who were able to experience a day full of relaxation and fun.
They're able to do haircuts, get deep conditioning treatments, blow dries, having their makeup done, and also getting massages. We all love massages. And then also lip and brow waxes.
Held at the Vita Vicar Salon, Pamper Me Pink Girls Day brought together many people who have been on similar journeys with their diagnosis. Founder and president of Evelyn's BFF, Evelyn Callip is a breast cancer survivor herself.
My goal is just to take them away
away from sad part of their breast cancer treatment, like chemo and radiation, and come to eventful event, like fun events like this.
Evelyn's BFF has grown from a group of 8 to an organization of more than 100 people. It has been a major advocate in the fight against breast cancer and raising community awareness.
Evelyn's BFF, helped me a lot, and I'm sure they help a lot of other people out there too in the community.
Breast cancer is the most common cancer found among women in the United States. There are currently 2.9 million breast cancer survivors, including those a part of Evelyn's BFF. And when it comes to awareness, Maria had one message.
It can happen at any age. It can happen to any, ethnicity, culture. So just, if you check yourself, make sure that you go and get a mammogram.
For This Week in Torrance, this is Chia Kobayashi.
Thanks, Chia. For more information on the nonprofit Evelyn's BFF, go to evsbff.org or check out their Facebook page, Evelyn's BFF.
And finally, the community gathered to celebrate an organization that literally changes people's lives. Reporter Kyle Sexton is at a Halloween ball to bring us the story.
Torrance came out to the 17th annual Halloween Ball Festival. They're here, they're having a great time, making a fool of themselves, dressing up, all for the children, the Pediatric Therapy Network.
The Pediatric Therapy Network put on its biggest fundraising event of the year with host chef Michael Schaefer of the Depot Restaurant. The Halloween Ball, an annual event, invited all of the South Bay to take part in the celebration of an organization dedicated to helping special needs children.
So presented $1,500.
Guests donated money through live and silent auctions to benefit PTN. It's an organization dedicated to helping children with mental and physical disabilities through therapy and education.
What PTN's done for us is really allowed us to, it's opened up a whole new world to us. It took us down a path where we didn't really know what to expect. And with the love and support of the staff and the therapists at PTN, they help me and they help Brandon just really be able to navigate through, figuring out doctors and schools and all of that. It's just been amazing.
In the 17 years since PTN's first Halloween Ball, attendance has grown from 47 people to more than 700. PTN has become a second family to members of the community.
Whenever I go out and talk about the Pediatric Therapy Network, it's always somebody says, I know somebody, my neighbor, my relative, my child. It never fails that whenever I go and talk about it, there's somebody who knows, somebody who's received services at our clinic.
We talk about how it takes a village to raise a child, and that is indeed true. So even if you don't have a special needs child of your own or don't know one, chances are sometime, somewhere you will interact with one.
And in tradition with the Halloween Ball, guests were introduced to the Pediatric Therapy Network's new junior ambassador, Holly Dempsey. Guests enjoyed dinner, a martini bar, and a costume contest. With all the entertainment and fun, everyone got in the spirit of caring. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Kyle Sexton.
Thanks, Kyle. Pediatric Therapy Network raised more than $163,000, exceeding last year's results. Well, that's going to do it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Chun. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.